The NFL regular season is finally here, and that is music to all of our ears. And on Sunday, we'll be doing a watch party for game number 1 against the Chicago Bears. It all kicks off right here on the 49ers Report, 12:45 p.m. Eastern, 9:45 a.m. Pacific. No matter where you are or how you watch us, thank you in advance for tuning in. Hope to see all of you there. Make sure you subscribe. It's youtube.com/49ers TV, and turn on those notifications. Therefore, when we do go live, you know when the party starts. So here, it's all going to come to fruition as the regular season finally gets underway on Sunday from Soldier Field in Chicago between the San Francisco 49ers and the Chicago Bears, in a game that is really critical for both teams and a matchup that features Trey Lance, a member of the 2021 NFL draft class, who the 49ers took ahead of Justin Fields. And for the 49ers, are coming off that NFC Championship game last year, number 13 scoring offense in the NFL, number 10 scoring defense after they really made strides after starting the season 3-5. And if you remember, Deebo Samuel had that monster game at Soldier Field, which really kickstarted the entire 49ers season. For the Chicago Bears, they're beginning this new regime with Matt Eberflus on a different note as compared to San Francisco. Last year, they were dreadful. Number 27 scoring offense, number 22 scoring defense. The over-under for this game set at 7.5, so San Francisco more than a touchdown favorite, with the over-under checking in at 41.5. I firmly believe that the Niners are going to win this football game, and I'll tell you why coming up here just around the corner. Before we start breaking this game down in further detail, bringing you the best analysis on YouTube when it comes to San Francisco, I want all of you to get in the comment section right now and predict the score of Sunday's game between the Bears and the Niners. Get those score predictions in down below right now. For Trey Lance to succeed, this is really the biggest key for me going into week 1. A couple of things have to happen. This offensive line, which is a major question mark going into this year, has to hold up. If Trey Lance doesn't get any pass protection, if you can't get the ground game going, that spells a disaster for Trey Lance. There are going to be nerves with him, and that's to be expected now that he is the official starter of this football team. Make his job easier, and how do you do that? You get that ground game established, and you keep him upright in the pocket so that he has time and the confidence to make throws on the field. From a schematic standpoint, I think it's really important also for Kyle Shanahan to give Trey Lance some layups. Give him some easy completions so that he can get his feet wet, so that he can find a rhythm, increase that confidence, and from there, that's when you unleash the full arsenal for Trey, where the athletic marvel can really come on to display. 6'4", 225, running threat, throwing threat, can complete balls north and south, but also sideline to sideline. But in order to get to that point and progress to that level, I want to see some gimme throws, some bubble screens, some short in routes, easy out routes. You get them out on the move to just increase that confidence. And then with that, that's when you're able to utilize and implement the play action. And I think Trey Lance, going back to North Dakota State, by the way, when among all quarterbacks in that 2021 NFL draft class, he took the most snaps under center throughout his college career. He's comfortable with that play action. Again, it goes back to point number 1 here, where you have to have that offensive line hold up for the play action to happen, but the play action keeps the defense guessing and then allows you to get vertical and take the top off of the defense. And then lastly, Trey Lance has to avoid costly mistakes. Can't turn the football over at inopportune times. You can't make dumb decisions, especially in the guts of the game, that can cost you a win early in the year, when, let's be real, San Francisco really does have to put an emphasis on starting this year a lot faster than they did last year when they got off to that 3-5 start, then had to play catch up the remainder of the season. As for what Trey Lance did throughout the preseason, a lot of people said, you know what? He sucked in that final preseason game against the Houston Texans. You look at the numbers, actually, he was pretty good. 11 of 16, 141 yards, 1 touchdown. It went to Danny Gray on that 76-yard bomb. No interceptions. His quarterback rating was hovering around 115, 116. I don't expect Trey Lance to light the league on fire to start his first year as a starting quarterback. I do expect him, though, to bring explosive plays to this offense in what is going to be a great matchup between two young quarterbacks who have a lot of potential in Trey Lance and Justin Fields. So with that, I ask you this. Who do you think plays better between the two sophomore QBs? Type 5, that's a jersey number for Trey Lance. 1 is the jersey number for Justin Fields. Once again, fielding all of your responses down in the comments section. Moving forward with our preview. 49ers' biggest key to victory, in my opinion, defensively, you got to find a way to get after Justin Fields and let your defense have a field day against Justin Fields. The Bears' offensive line last year, which isn't much improved going into this year, was one of the worst units in the National Football League. They ranked 32nd as a position group among all teams in the NFL. That's dead last. And the 49ers arguably have the best defensive line in the business. And you take a look at the Bears' passing game back in 2021, and Justin Fields didn't play the whole season, but he saw significant snaps. Completion rate, 27th among 32 teams. Touchdown rate among quarterbacks, 30th. Interception rate, 32nd. Yards per attempt, 24th. And the Bears' offensive line also surrendered 58 sacks, that too dead last in the NFL. So this is really a great opportunity for this 49ers defense, which I expect to be a top 5 overall unit with the deepest defensive line in the National Football League, to eat in the regular season opener. A big day could be coming up for Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, and Samson Ebukam. But also what makes this Niners defensive line so dangerous, it's the depth and then the interchanging of pieces moving edge rushers to the interior as well. I do have to note that, yes, there is a new regime with the Chicago Bears, but this offensive line is still porous. This offensive line is still bad, and the Niners defensive line should be able to have that field day against Justin Fields, and really no excuses for not generating pressure against Fields on Sunday. The betting odds for this game, as I said a little bit earlier, in case you missed it, San Francisco more than touchdown favorites. They were 9-point favorites last year, week 1 against the Detroit Lions. We know how that ended up, with the Niners not covering, almost blowing that game. I was in shambles. 7.5-point favorites, the over-under here at 41.5. And no matter where you're tuned in from, if you want to bet on this game, do so with our sportsbook partner, BetUS, all year offering that 125% deposit bonus. So if you go to chatsports.com/49bet, promo code Niners125, you get that 125% deposit bonus. You put in $100, you get an additional $125 back. I like the over in this game. Not sure I think the Niners cover that 7.5. You let me know what your bets are going to be in the comment section, though. Let's continue to move forward with our preview. This is a big game for Deebo Samuel because this is the start of his new contract extension. Deebo, show that you're worth that contract. He had kind of an iffy training camp, wasn't on the same page as Trey Lance, but rewind the clock back to last year where you were one of the most impactful, best overall football players in the NFL, but also you rewind back to last year, he helped save the Niners season on the road at the same setting, Soldier Field in Chicago. As for Brandon Ayuk, let's go, Brandon. You're a prime breakout candidate going into 2022. Start the season with a bang. And don't start the season in the doghouse. Show everybody what you showed throughout training camp in the preseason, that you were making it happen with Trey Lance, who you lived with and trained with in Southern California throughout the offseason, and it paid its dividends. You look at what Ayuk did his first 2 years in the NFL. He's on the precipice of breaking out. He's inching so close to being that 1,000-yard receiver, and once you get there, you look like the former first-round pick. 748 his first year, 826 receiving yards his second year. He has the potential to put it all together to be that 1,000-yard receiving guy. All eyes also will be on this Niners offensive line outside of Trent Williams. And this Bears defensive line and this defense as a whole, Robert Quinn with some of the other good pieces on that team, they can rush the passer. And they are pretty good in that regard. And if the Niners cannot establish that ground game, if they can't hold up in pass protection. Going to be a long year for Trey Lance and a long day on Sunday. I have my eyes on Aaron Banks, second career start. Jake Brendel, first-time starter as a center. Spencer Burford, first career NFL start. Mike McGlinchey, if he does play. Some Niners injury news there, coming off that torn quad with that knee soreness that's hampered him over the last couple of weeks. As for what the Bears will do, we'll round out our preview with this. They're going to want to target Cole Kmet and target Darnell Mooney. Kmet is their tight end. Darnell Mooney, their number one wide receiver. I do think they're somewhat thin in terms of offensive weapons, so Charvarius Ward going up against Darnell Mooney, lock him down. Take that option away from Justin Fields, because if he holds onto the ball, you can get home and you can sack him in the backfield. Same can be said for Cole Kmet. Big task for this Niners linebacking core to go up against a tight end of that caliber. So before we get out of here, taking your score predictions once again down below in the comment section, who you got between the Bears and the Niners. Another reminder, we'll be doing a watch party for it on Sunday. Then we'll be going live for a podcast, taking your calls for a post-game show after the game wraps up. Join the conversation in the comments section. And as always, appreciate all of you for supporting the show.